Our abductors. Okay, so just like we talked about for measurements, we have a dorsal interosseous that moves the second digit out. We've got a dorsal interosseous that moves the third finger towards the first finger. Then we have our third dorsal interosseous is on the other side of the third finger that makes it go the other way. And then our fourth interosseous is on the outside of the fourth finger that makes it go out, right? It's not an interosseous muscle that abducts our pinky. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for this one, you have the person, the quick and dirty way to do it is you have them splay their fingers and you simply try to pull their fingers together. Okay, the other, you can do each finger one at a time where you're trying to push this finger in for 1, you're trying to push this towards the pinky for 2, push it towards the thumb for 3, and then on the ring finger, you're trying to push it towards the middle finger for 4. Okay?
Doesn't the fifth digit have one?
The fifth digit does not have a dorsal interosseous because it has the abductor digiti minimi that does that. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Are you going to give us a specific one on the test?
No, the card will say dorsal interossei.
And then can you just do this then?
Yeah, as long as you can tell me which interossei you're testing. Okay? So we talked about abductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi, and then the dorsal interossei.
So which is?
When you just stabilize it, stabilize one.
So if I'm testing these two, right? Which two dorsal interossei am I testing? I'm testing on our thumb. Then we're going to have one on our middle finger. We're going to have one on our ring finger and one on our pinky. Okay, so the palmar interossei are it's going to be thumb, index finger, ring finger, and little finger. So now we're going to have our fingers together and we're going to try to pull them apart. Okay? So I will stop and let you play with these now. So we've talked about resistance this time instead of concurrent resistance. So the first thing you're going to do is resist MCP flexion for 6 seconds. And then you're going to resist PIP and DIP extension by coming at the end and trying to curl the fingers at both joints. And you're going to hold that for 6 seconds. You're going to give your patient the weakest grade of those two. Okay? So if this is weaker, you would give the person that grade. If they were weaker this way, you would give them that grade. But they get 1 grade for this test. Okay? So it's sequential resistance, MCP flexion, IP extension. So the person's trying to keep their fingers straight. Okay? Can you man the... The next one is the palmaris. Oh, no. Is bend your wrist and then cup your hand. There you go. So when I resist for palmaris longus, I'm going to have you flex your wrist a little bit more. I am resisting the wrist flexion, but I also have my hands on the thenar and hypothenar eminences, and I'm trying to pull them out and pull him down. Hold it there. And relax. Okay? So if I didn't have his hand in my hand, I would be pulling out this way and down for the palmaris longus. Okay? So I'm trying to open up his hand and extend his wrist for palmaris longus. Okay? MCP flexors when we tested the lumbricals, right? So now for flexor digitorum superficialis, we're going to test the flexion of the PIPs. Okay, so we don't want there to be flexion anywhere else. So I'm going to stabilize here. Now what I want you to do is bend your fingers around. There you go. And try to keep the ends of your fingers straight. And I'm going to have you hold it there. There you go. And don't let me pull you out of that. And relax. I'm getting tired. Now, profundus is a little bit trickier because it's harder to provide resistance across all of the fingers so that you're only getting flexion at the DIP joints. So you may have to stabilize with two different hands. Now I'm going to have you flex. There you go. Okay, and I'm going to pull you out of it. And relax. So what you need to remember is that superficialis, I'm stabilizing here, and he's flexing at the PIP. For profundus, I'm stabilizing on the middle phalanges, and now he is flexing at the DIP. Okay? So we've got superficialis, profundus. You can test each finger individually. You all know that you don't have control individually, so it makes sense to go ahead and test them all at the same time. It's harder to test profundus at the same time because our pinky just isn't as long as our other fingers, so it's hard to stabilize across like that. Okay? What's next after profundus? Oh, good. So for flexor carpi radialis, and flexor carpi ulnaris. For flexor carpi radialis, I'm going to have you bend your wrist up, and now move it towards your thumb. There you go. Now I'm stabilizing here, I'm holding here, and I'm trying to pull him out. And relax. I'm putting more resistance than I wanted to here because I was working hard, sorry. So I am trying to pull him out of flexion and the radial deviation. So these are, the reason I like these is because they all match the name, right? So we've got flexor of the carpes, and now we're going to the ulnar direction. Hold it there, don't let me pull you out of it. And relax. Okay? So for flexor carpi radialis and flexor carpi ulnaris, you're just having them flex and go in the direction and then try to resist that direction. Okay? Extensor digitorum, we've already tested the extension of the IP joints when we did the lumbricals and interossei. What we haven't tested yet is the extension at the MCP joints. Okay? So we're here. I'm going to have you keep your fingers curled like you have. And now I want you to bring your fingers up. Okay, so for someone who doesn't have a lot of extension at MCP, I would not do it on the table. So now I would put him in this position. So keeping your fingers curled, go ahead and bring them up there. And now I'm going to stabilize his palm, and I'm pulling down on the proximal phalanx. Okay? I know. I know, you guys. I'm so sorry. So your birthday today? I can give you an A. It's my birthday. Okay, so for the extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, we have two now for this one. So you just have to remember that extensor carpi radialis, there is a longus and brevis. We want to have the elbow relatively straight, but not all the way straight for longus, okay? Because that's a two-joint muscle, and we want it to be in mid-range. So I'm going to have you come up and go towards your thumb. There you go. Hold it there. Don't let me pull it out. And relax. Now, what do you think I do for brevis? How do I want to make the longus actively insufficient? Okay, now I'm going to have you come up. And there you go. Oh, okay, relax for me. What I want you to do is come up and go like this. What you did is you actually rotated your forearm. There you go. And hold it there. Did you wonder what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
And relax. So now for extensor carpi ulnaris, we're going to go back to that standard elbow position. So now I'm going to have you come up and out. Okay, hold it there. And relax, good. Now what you'll see is I'm doing the testing at the end range of the wrist motion. Okay, so where we spend a lot of time working on having the person go through full range before they did it. For the wrist and hand, we're doing a lot of our manual muscle testing at end range, so it's not as overt that we're having them do the full range first. Okay? All right, so to recap. First we started with palmaris longus. So that was flex your wrist and then cup your together and hold it there. And relax. And that's why we don't have you on roller chairs. The next one was flexor digitorum superficialis. That is flexion at the PIP. So I'm going to stabilize proximal, have them bend across, and I'm going to pull out. And relax. Flexor digitorum profundus. I'm going to move down a joint, and now he's just flexing his DIP. Okay. Then then we did the flexor carpi. We'll do flexor carpi ulnaris. So that's when you're just coming up and out. Yep, and I'm pulling out. Flexor carpi radialis. Go up and E.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And relax. Okay. Then on the other side, we had extensor digitorum, which for Victor we had to do off. Fingers stay bent and you extend. Hold it there. And I'm not stabilizing very well. And could you see what was happening? I wasn't stabilizing very well, so his whole arm was moving. So you want to stabilize, but you're resisting extension of the MCP. And then we had extensor carpi radialis longus, which is here. Then we did brevis, is here. And then extensor carpi ulnaris is there. Okay? So I know it's a lot when you take a breath, which you haven't been able to do for the last 2 hours.